Hi folks, Misty Steps here, and today I am joined by a very special guest, my friend from across the pond, Jason, aka Enote Strife here on YouTube.
The audacity, honestly.
That good old American audacity.
What are we yapping about? What's the vibe here? Why are we even here, Misty?
Honestly,
Hmm?
I just wanted to yap about D&D and campaign prep and like how we do different things or how different we are as DMs because we've been friends now on the internet for like I don't know, 6
Some
months.
time.
Some
A
industry
unit of time.
for a while. And every time that we talk about how we do things, I feel like we are on vastly different sides of the spectrum on how we handle everything.
I met Jason during Dungeon Jam last year, and since then we talk pretty consistently, and through those conversations we have learned that we have some very different styles of prep and campaign management. One of the things that we see a lot of new DMs have questions about or concerns about is how much do I prep, or how do I know if I'm over preparing? Because over preparing is a terrible thing that you hear. Don't over prep, don't over prep. But you need to make sure you're prepared enough. And I think that it's important to recognize that preparation is a spectrum, and me and Jason are on vastly opposite sides of it. See, I'm a bit of a structured person. I don't need a whole plot written out, but I do need to know, there's going to be a clue at A, B, and C, a MacGuffin here, and then after they get three clues, the bad guy will come in and confront them. I'll put that in my DM binder when I am creating a campaign, and while that scrapbook that I make for my campaign is not entirely set in stone, it is something for me to work off of and something that I use as a foundation for what type of adventure I'm trying to set up and get the vibe set for this table. While I don't want to railroad my players, I do want to set them up for success and make sure that we are all aligned as to where the story is going and where those hints are pointing them towards. The story may shift and twist, and it may completely ignore chapters in that scrapbook or move them around to put one in front of the other that I didn't anticipate, but the general vibe is still all there. Jason, on the other hand,
So what do you do?
Not that.
Yeah, what do you do?
I prep 1 or 2 sessions in advance, usually. I will quite happily go into a campaign not knowing what the campaign is about as the DM and figuring it out after the first couple sessions. I'll have a rough concept as to what the first couple of sessions should be, because I think generally in D&D the first 1 or 2 sessions should just be like uniting the party, everyone getting a feel for them as characters and also as players if the players haven't played together before. You getting a feel as the DM for what it is that they are enjoying or not enjoying, what they want to do and what they don't want to do, that kind of thing. And I realise that this is stuff that you can handle in a session 0, but I also think that most people don't actually know what they want, generally speaking. Someone might say, "Oh yeah, I love the roleplay stuff," and then you give them a good fight where they're sweating the entire time, and they come out of it and they're like, "That was the best session I've ever had." It's like, there we go, because I nearly killed you 3 times. And I think that's the kind of stuff that you only discover as you're actually playing. So, with the last campaign, the one that I finished a few weeks ago, which is only like 35, 36 sessions. It's not too long, he says. Like, that's not most of a year.
I was gonna say, just to clarify, that's weekly sessions. How long are each session?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, weekly, about 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
It's like 100 hours of D&D. So
yeah, that's a lot. I mean, that's more than a couple of seasons of a TV show usually. So
So I had a rough idea as to, like, I wanted it to be about Fae stuff, vaguely, because of one of the characters, and I wanted it to be about demon stuff because of another one of the characters, and did some research about what the linking thing could be. Found a demon lord who'd been captured and put in a gem before, found a Fae princess who was part of the Winter's Court, who was made of shadow glass, and I was like, okay, well, we'll just do shadow glass gems. This demon lord has been stuck in the gems. How do I get the gems into the players? What do I do with the gems? And then kind of figured that out as we went. Decided that these should be implanted in things and have generally negative effects. And I did this very much on the train, putting the railroads in front of myself, trying to figure out what I was doing as we were going, which really helps when your players are inventive and suspicious, and my players frequently are. So it makes my life easier because they'll go, well, what if it's this thing? And I'm like, what if it is that thing? It's a good idea.
Realistically, this is probably just because Jason is a bit better at improv than what I am. And that's not a bad thing either. One of the things I love about D&D is that there is no right or wrong way to prep. It's working towards your strengths and doing what feels most natural for you. Most would probably say something between the two of us is probably the logical answer for most people. But neither of us are wrong. To be honest, I don't really use that scrapbook that I made at the beginning of this campaign at all. I haven't touched it since I first made it. But that's okay because I use it to reference the wax seals that I have. And aside from that, it's there as a structure background. It's for me to reference as needed, and I can add to it then when we get into the season 2 or the second arc of this campaign, since the first arc is all that I have fleshed out in there currently. You're going to need different prep for whether you're playing online or in person and how prepared you are to improv. If you're not super confident in your improv abilities, prep more. Make sure that you have at least a couple of things ready to go, a couple of silly voices, a couple of names ready to go. And if you are comfortable with improving, have fun improving and just have a couple of notes on what you're going to run the session on. And I really do mean just a couple of notes. Jason sent me this screenshot when he ran a one-shot for me, which will be in a different video, but this was it. This was his prep for that entire session. On the flip side, these are my notes for one of my sessions of Wild Beyond the Witchlight. That's a pre-written module. I already have the book. This is just my own additional notes to slim down what the book says. I also spend a lot of my prep making props in newspapers, which is vastly different from Jason's because all of his games are played online, whereas mine are all in person.
Do you think the fact that your campaign is all online changes anything about how you prep?
It means the prep that I do has to be a little more specific because I have to prep the digital maps we use because we play via Tailspire. So I do have to have a lot of different maps prepped, even if I don't know what those maps are going to be for. Which can be tricky. It can be a little bit harder to be reactive if you're not used to that as a result. If they're like, we want to go south, and you've only prepped maps to the north, that could theoretically be an issue unless you've got something you can improv as to what is south, which is why I've always got a few maps just in the game that I can use that will have creatures on that would be there for reasons, whatever the reasons end up being. So, yeah.
Okay. I feel like a lot of new players, or new DMs rather, get a little scared off because they hear how much prep that goes into these things, or they hear us get super excited about this and how these insane stories that we have, they're like, I could never, or I don't know where I would even start with prepping that. Any advice for those people?
Just don't worry about it. Like I said, you can 100% make stuff up as you go, as long as you put enough thought into the things that you're doing and spend a little bit of time reflecting after each session as to what they did and then how they should influence the world going forwards. You will still come up with a cohesive campaign at the end of it.
I'm looking at you, Mr. Steps. Mr. Steps is mentioned wanting to DM, but will not DM.
You should just do it.
While Jason has to have maps at the ready and things prepped and ready to go for combats online and has to make sure that he's got things ready to go for those instances, I have the luxury of being able to just whip out a dry erase marker on a battle map whenever I so choose. That changes how much we spend on map set prep each session, and it also changes how much we spend on each session prep. We prep in vastly different ways, where I am prepping props and I'm prepping letters and scandals. Jason is making homebrew magic items.
Where can they find you, Jason? Where can they find some more content to get more of you and your British audacity?
You can suffer through my British audacity by going to Enter They Strife on YouTube, where I have over 1,000 subscribers now and am therefore very important. I do interviews. I did interviews. I still do interviews when they come up, but it's not as often as it used to be. And I do reviews and weird builds and I do a lot of third-party content coverage because I like it.
So, if prep has been the thing keeping you from trying your hand at being a DM, no fear. Just remember that it's whatever makes you most comfortable, and if me and Jason can manage it despite being so different, you can manage it too. If you're interested in more from yours truly, please feel free to check out the video being recommended to you. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe. Feel free to comment. I do respond to those as best I can, and be sure to check out Jason at the link below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
Sometimes you just need a silly little guy, and the Feywild is filled with a lot of silly little guys. Some of them can unhinge their jaw like a snake and have just, like, rows upon rows of shark teeth. It's a thing that happens, you know?
Some of them are spiders that wave back when you wave at them. It's a good time.
Some of them are silkworms with lyres that sing you songs.
It's great. We love the Feywild.
I love the Feywild.
It's nonsense. Yeah, it's the best.
I love the Feywild.